morning, Scritty here, demondemon.com. You've probably all heard about Panda 4.0, which is a site content and site element restructuring by Google. It's had a very large impact. The sort of estimates are somewhere between 7.5% and 9% of search terms and search queries have been affected by it, which is huge, given that the last Penguin update only did about 2.8 to 3%. This is 3 times bigger. And it's based with your on-site stuff. Now, SearchEngineLand.com, they've got a list of the winners and losers based on the metrics of site visitors over the previous week since Panda 4.0 rolled out, and there are some very common factors that the winners have, and there's some very common factors that the losers have, and I'm going to try and keep this video to under 10 minutes and go through those so we can gain some information about how to best bolster your site, recover your site for any content penalty you may have had, or how to just improve if you're happy with it but you just want to make it better. Here are the 10 biggest losers according to Search Engine Land. These guys here on these 10 sites up here have lost between 50 and 75% of their traffic. There are 3 or 4 very common elements. I'm going to go through them quickly and go Ask Jeeves. Okay, so after eBay, we all know that was the biggest loser apparently. We all know what eBay looks like. It's user generated content. It's often content which is very similar. Somebody will have 5 or 6 of a very similar item to sell, like a patio heater or something, and all he'll do is change the size. This is a 2 meter one that works at 5 kilowatts. This is a 2.2 meter one that works at 5.5 kilowatts. This is a blah blah blah, and it'll just be very, very similar. You know what eBay is. So there's a little clue about why that's been penalised. Ask Jeeves, up until very recently, it was ranking for a lot of terms such as how do I cure male baldness? What do I do about ingrown toenails? What do I do if my children are rude to their stepfather? All that kind of stuff. A lot of them probably should have had a specialist answer. If somebody was actually looking, they probably didn't want to go to Ask Jeeves. They probably wanted a medical site or something like that to give them a proper answer for it. So, but this was Ask.com was returning a lot of those answers in the top 2 or 3 positions. You've probably noticed it until recently. Here's another one. This is Your Tango, which is a relationship and sort of life coach site. But if you click on these here, they're lists. It looks good. It looks reasonably well laid out and modern. It has a decent colour scheme. The sort of the purpley pink is carried on through most things. However, if you click on these Nicole Weaver and Kirsten Drosch, and down here there's a Huffington Post one, they actually take you off site for the main content, or they say previously published on for the main content. So we'll click this just to show you. And there we are. Look, if you go there, it actually it's Huffington Post bits and bobs for Huffington Post Weird News. So it's not actually they're curating, but they're over curating. Nearly everything on this site is syndicated and curated. There's virtually nothing of their own on this site at all, and there's a lot of advertising. So if you look at the real estate, if this is 1, 2, 3, if there's fifths, there's a fifth there that's advertising, there's a fifth there that's advertising or site maintenance, and there's a fifth here that's advertising. Plus there's advertising along the centre as well, and loads of advertising above the fold. So there's very little, if any, unique content. It's nearly 100% syndicated or curated, and it's extremely heavily advertised. All this in the background is advertised. Okay, Spoonful. Again, it looks pretty good, but when you click on these, you go away to generic. It sends you to other sites that actually have these lists on them. Spoonful, sort of again, it's sort of a life coachy sort of site. Here's something interesting for you to do, something for you to cook, something for you to make, something for you to keep your kids amused. But it tends to take you away from the site straight away. Again, extremely heavily curated and syndicated. And again, with quite a bit of advertising. Nowhere near as bad as Your Tango, but a lot there. Entertainment news, we've got the same problem again. All this looks great. You click, nearly all these images are from Getty or similar image portals like that, then none of them actually owned by the site. The hot trending news looks like it's scraped and then put into a format. Virtually nothing on this site is unique. Virtually nothing on this site is owned by the site, and there are even some hot links. Some of these images aren't actually hosted on Star Pulse. I've checked a couple and they're not. I wish I could find one now. And I'm not just talking about the advertising. So we're starting to get a pattern here of which sites are being slapped. Deal Catcher. This has virtually no unique content as well. The images and these little tech descriptions of the deals are taken directly from the deal site itself. So WeatherTech Universal Automotive Map Pack, this is WeatherTech's description of their Universal Automotive Map Pack, copy and pasted or scraped and dragged here. Likewise this image, same for the Puma, same for this. Loads of advertising as well, virtually no unique content and tons of advertising. When I say virtually no unique content, I mean so little, you come to page after page and you won't find a single piece of unique content on some of these sites. Science news, it looks fantastic. You think, well, you know, it's lots of geeky science, freaky science, as opposed to real hardcore stuff you're going to want to know about the Large Hadron Collider or whatever. But once you get here, click on Live Science and it'll say, well, this isn't a good one, but it'll say originally posted at this article was originally posted at somewhere else. We've got this issue once again with extremely heavy syndication and curation of other people's work and very little unique content. Sites like is just a list of sites like other sites. Virtually no content. Another Freaks and Geeks site. They seem to have been hit pretty hard, the Freaks and Geeks sites. Digital Trend, again, almost all advertising. It's a directory, it's advertising. Ace Showbiz, there we are, similar sort of thing again. You think, oh, this looks okay. Pat Sajak was, joking with his tweet. You look down here, and they've got a little snippet here. It's probably about 200 words, but the advertising is huge. And basically it's get off this page, everything here. But this isn't the worst. If I had any of these 10 worse here, and bear in mind all these have lost between 50-75% of their traffic, this is the one I'd say, oh, this is a bit of a shame, because at least, this might only be snippet size, but they are making an effort and it is unique. But they do stick advertising again all over the place. So what I've learned here is directories just for directory's sake, not good. Sites which are extremely heavy on curation and syndication, where probably 80-90% plus of the entire site is made of curated and syndicated work. I always like curation and syndication, but this is way, way, way too much. It's almost entire sites made just by using other people's work. Doesn't work. Also, being a general site and being an authority in a very specific niche like Ask doesn't seem to work. Okay, so what does work? What's replaced these sites? And there's some common factors here. These are the 4 biggest winners. These have gained 30, 40, 50%. And eMedicine Health and medterms.com. It's quite interesting that these have actually taken, if you look search term by search term, these have taken a lot of asks and a lot of how-tos sites. They've taken their place in the search engine ranking for the terms such as, rheumatism and hair loss and all that kind of stuff. So it's an actual specific medical site. So it's still a broad niche, it's medicine, but this site is an authority in a specific broad niche, as opposed to just a directory which looks to answer loads of questions. So there's your first thing. Very, very general sites that go for a scattergun approach to almost like a silo gone mad, just like, we'll hit every keyword there is and we'll answer every question there is, and that's our job. They don't work. What seems to work now is, hang on, we're an authority in this niche, albeit a broad niche, and we're going to offer you results based on that. That seems to work, but isn't that better? Just my thinking. Isn't that probably isn't that preferable? Probably is. Some interesting ones here. Coupon Cabin, which is almost 100% advertising. It's all about getting coupons and offers. However, it is insanely popular, and where this is one, it's won over other lesser coupon sites. Coupons are something that people go out their way to search for. People actually put a search term in and then use coupon as a qualifier, like holidays in Hawaii, coupon. That will be the search term. So Google have to provide coupon responses to that, because people are specifically asking for coupon sites. It's no good Google saying, we think coupon sites are, a low value, low content, whatever. People are specifically asking for coupon in their search term. It's a very, very competitive search term. So what Google have done here is they've cleared most of the field out of the trash coupon sites, the ones that were put up by hackers and scammers and black hatters and whatnot. They nearly have all gone, and only 2 or 3 of the big boys are left that offer, they believe, the best user experience. I'm not passing any judgment on that. I may be wrong there, but that seems okay. But that's quite interesting that they've done that. Here's another one which may be a little bit of a surprise, which is who's dating who. So this is, celebrity stuff is huge. We could say it's trash. I personally got no interest in Kim Kardashian or any of these other people, or Justin Bieber, or Miley Cyrus. Not remotely interested in them. However, this site uses nearly all unique content. All of this is posted regularly, so you've got lots of stuff posted on here. A lot of it is user posted, so they're using user generated content. Well done. Saves you a lot of cash on authors, and it's a site that's very well used, that fulfills that thing like you put in 2 celebrities and it tells you how you can make a connection between them, whether they ever dated, or whether A dated B and B dated C and C dated D and then D dated E, and you want to know about A and E, or like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, the 6 degrees of dating they call it here, but they've put Kevin Bacon there just so you know. So it's something that's pretty well used. It's got a fair bit of advertising. It might have been close to the cusp, but of this sort of site, it wins in certain ways. A, that it uses nearly all unique content. The images aren't, but most of the text is. It uses slightly less advertising than most. The advertising is there and there, Bright Pearl and RAC in this case, but that's virtually all. And then down here, it's probably 30 to 35% advertising, 65% content. It's also very, very quick. Okay, so to sum up, what have I sort of gleaned from this? That being an authority is better than having a scattergun approach to try and be an all things to everybody sort of site. Being an authority, it can be a broad niche site, but whatever amount of content your site has should justify its position there. So if you're going to want to set up an authority site for automobiles and cars or whatever, it's no good having a 12-page site because Google isn't going to believe you. Unique content has taken a bit of an up hit again. It's gone up again. It's been promoted again. It's always the case. That's it. By unique content, I do not mean unspun content. It seems that a lot of sites that use spun content are doing exceptionally well. However, syndicated and curated sites, which uses exactly word for word from other places, it basically just takes entire blocks, sometimes of hundreds or thousands of words, doesn't spin them, doesn't do anything to them, and just places them on their site with the qualifier previously seen on CNN.com or whatever, and call that curation. They've been hit. What I haven't noticed is sites that take the CNN news or whatever and spin it so it looks unique. I'm not condoning this or condemning it. I'm just saying this is just a statement of fact. They seem to have pretty much got through, but those that present it exactly as it is again, under the while it's syndication or while it's curation, they've been hit very hard. And it's those sites that use those 2 techniques almost exclusively. The third one is directories. This may be the same as a scattergun sort of site like Jeeves. We're going to answer everybody's question. If your directory just a list of things where in fact people nearly always would want to know more about the thing, so garden furniture, and just a list of garden furniture items there with images taken straight from the web and plonked there. That's not there anymore. They've been wiped out and replaced by sites which have more information, unique information on garden furniture. To summarise that even more tightly, unique content wins, whether it's spun or not. It just needs to be seen by Google to be unique. Authority sites win. If you're covering a large niche, have a large site of unique content. A lot of advertising above the fold loses. Trying to be all things to all people and scattergun the web with massive loads of tiny snippets of information to glean tens of thousands of keywords loses. So if you've had a slap, it is all about the thinness of your content, the thinness of your content which is perceived as unique by Google. That is almost precisely what it is. If you've got a site which is far too broad in niche with far too little content, you've probably got an effort on there which is going to be huge to overcome. I don't know how you do it in the long term. You could take a huge risk and spin a ton of content and populate your pages with what seems like unique but in fact spun. But if it's spun badly, you're going to lose click-through ratings, because people will click through good syndicated content. They'll see it and they'll read it and it's readable. What they won't do is click through badly spun content. And if your aim is to get click-through, to get people to stay on your site and get good visitor metrics, that becomes an issue. This isn't a change in what Panda's done before. This is the same as Panda has done in all its previous, I think this is the 15th actual update of Panda, but they've called it Panda 4.0. This isn't a change. This is yet another refinement. All the things I've said here aren't anything particularly new. We knew that directory sites were suffering. We knew that sites of scattergun approach to keyword grabbing was suffering, and we knew that authority sites, which justified their position in an authority by having the right amount of content, the right keywords, and and the right level of uniqueness, they were winning. And this is just another step forward in that. So it's obvious what you need to do to win. You need more unique content. You need to either tighten what your site's about if you're going to struggle with content, or perhaps in some cases give up and go and do something different, or take a risk and populate your site with content from all over the place which just appears to Google to be unique, and keep your fingers crossed they don't realise that it's spun or plagiarised or whatever in a different way. Again, no judgment call on that. Those are just the options which immediately spring to mind. Okay, well I've left you look at this picture of one of the Kardashians and all this other stuff for long enough. It's Scritty at demondemon.com signing off.